Let's discuss what happens next when nitrogen oxide is formed. This nitrogen oxide dilutes in rainwater. When with rain, definitely it travels towards the soil on the earth. When it reaches to earth in the soil, after different chemical reactions, it will be converted into nitrites and then into nitrates. So this is a process that is called natural fixation of nitrogen. We recap what happened actually during this natural fixation. First, this nitrogen molecule will be broken down, the diatomic molecule, into two different atoms by this lightning. This lightning created high temperature. So due to that high temperature, what happened? It became reactive, combined with oxygen and was converted into nitrogen oxide, nitrous oxide. Then with the help of rain, it reached on the earth, absorbed in soil, and after different chemical reactions, it was converted into nitrite and nitrates. So these nitrates actually are the compounds now which can be available for plants to absorb them, to convert them into amino acids, and eventually these amino acids can be changed into proteins, nucleic acids, or the compounds which are very important in our body, because protein is basic structure of our body. This protein is present everywhere in our hair, nails, muscles, collagens. Everywhere we require this protein because it is required for our growth. Then we require DNA, RNA, then ATPs, etc. So this was all about the natural fixation. Now we talk about the very interesting process that is called biological fixation. So let's see what happens in biological fixation. Okay, when we talk about biological fixation, the nitrogen that is present in atmosphere, that is a part of atmosphere. So let's see how we can use, or the plants can use that nitrogen, because at first step indefinitely plants will use to convert that nitrogen into protein or amino acids. Then we get our proteins or amino acids from plants. This nitrogen is present in atmosphere. So this nitrogen biologically can be fixed by two different steps. We have two different types of bacteria which actually fix this nitrogen biologically. Those two types of bacteria are: number one, free living bacteria in soil, then symbiotic bacteria. These symbiotic bacteria are present in the root nodules of leguminous plants, the legume plants. When we talk about the legume plants, we can take the examples of clover, peas, beans, all these plants are called leguminous plants. These leguminous plants actually have special type of structures in their roots, small swellings, node type structures. These structures are actually formed by the entering of bacteria called rhizobium. These are nitrogen fixing bacteria. Rhizobium actually enters into the root hairs of these plants. They dwells over there. Actually, it's a symbiotic relationship between the root hairs and the bacteria. It's close association. In this association, when these bacteria enters into the root hair, they actually reach to the inner parts, the cortical parts of the roots. Over there, these rhizobiums use nitrogen. How this nitrogen will reach to the plants, basically this nitrogen is present in the soil even. So how it will be a part of soil. Basically what happens, we are having de-nitrifying bacteria, Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas are the bacteria. What they do actually, the extra nitrates which are present in the soils, these extra nitrates are broken down by Pseudomonas bacteria into nitrogen again, and this nitrogen again actually removed from the soil and become a part of your air. So in this way this cycle will be completed, how the nutrients are recycled. Okay, on one hand they are going to be used in different compounds by the plants, and the extra nitrates are broken down again by the bacteria, Pseudomonas bacteria, to change them into nitrogen, and this nitrogen again will be released into the atmosphere to be a part of it. So in this way the percentage of nitrogen will not change in your atmosphere. But on the other hand, when we talk about the free living bacteria, these free living bacteria are present in other plants. In biological fixation, nitrogen is fixed at two different forms. At one step it is fixed by free living bacteria. When we talk about free living bacteria, these bacteria are actually anaerobes. Anaerobes mean actually they complete this whole process in the absence of oxygen. They do not use oxygen during this process. And when we talk about the second process of nitrogen fixation, that is completed by symbiotic bacteria. These symbiotic bacteria are actually present in the roots of different leguminous plants. They make an association in the root hairs. They dwell actually over here and they form small swellings. Those swellings are called root nodules. These are aerobic bacteria. What they actually do, they use nitrogen which is present in the soil, and then they fix this nitrogen or change this nitrogen into nitrates or ammonia. Similarly, when we talk about free living bacteria, the anaerobes. Over here we have different types like Clostridium, Azotobacters, then we have Anabina. These types of anaerobes actually are again present in soil and in seas. What they do, they use this nitrogen which is present in the soil. This nitrogen actually will react with hydrogen and then is converted into ammonia. So in this way, in biological fixation, nitrogen is going to be fixed into two different ways. One by the free living bacteria, the anaerobes, which are present in other plants other than leguminous plants, the legume plants. But when we talk about the legume plants, they have symbiotic relationships between their roots and the bacteria. We took the example of rhizobium over here. These rhizobium bacteria take up the nitrogen and convert this nitrogen into nitrates. So over here this process was completed by an enzyme that is called nitrogenase. This nitrogenase enzyme is actually stop oxygen to combine with nitrogen. So that's why this hydrogen will combine with it and will be changed into ammonia. So in this way, biologically, there are plants which fix nitrogen that is present in the soil or in water, will combine with hydrogen or oxygen to be converted into ammonia or the nitrates. So these nitrates or ammonia, it's a way to fix nitrogen into different compounds to make them usable for plants, because plants first will convert them into amino acids, they assimilate them into amino acids, proteins, nucleic acids, and then they are used by the consumers, the animals. So with this we are done with the biological fixation. Rest of the things we will discuss in our next program.